In this video we will finish chapter 11 by creating a drawing file of the pulley part we made in the previous video. Now we left off on about page 1125, and 1126 through about 1130 the book goes through and goes through more details of creating new borders, title blocks, and things that have to do with the drawing template. We've already had several videos by now in the class regarding drawing templates, so at this point you should have a template that you're comfortable with. So I would encourage you to go through the book and see if there's, possibly drawing and a new border or a new title block so that you know how to do it. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to skip this. So to begin, we will open up a new part file. Actually, it's a drawing. And we will choose a landscape. Remember, if the only showing standard formats is selected, you'll have to unselect that, or choose whatever default inch drawing template you have already made. I'll just go with this for now. Really, in this, what the plan is this video will teach you how to do section views and a little bit involving construction geometry and whatnot. So it should be a relatively quick video. So I've already got the pulley open. If you don't, then you'll have to browse and find the file location. So I'm just going to double click here, and I'm going to bring in the front view. And what you can see is that's not the view I want. So what I'm going to do, clearly I don't want that, so I'm just going to delete this. And I'm going to go back into view layout. I'm going to do a new model view, again double click it, and I can see that this is going to be the side. So now I'm going to do this. And this is a little bit more like the what the book does. And then I'm going to do an isometric projected view, because we'll know we'll do that. So we've got two views, and if you look on, say, page 1133, we need this one other view. So what we need is a section view. Now, if you've read the book, you already know a little bit about what a section view is. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you how to do it. We're going to click this in the View Layout, Section View tool. We have to draw a cutting line. Now, we've got some options. Generally, the first couple is just a horizontal or vertical cutting line, and or you could make some angled or even notched cutting sections. But generally, most everything you'll either do a vertical or horizontal, occasionally a side. You rarely have to do an aligned multiple line section view. So what we want is we're just going to do vertical, and we want to make sure it's the center line, the center point, and it pierces straight through the center. So I'm just going to make sure that I click the center of the circle. And we're happy with this. We don't want to do anything crazy or fancy. This would be if you wanted to create a notch, say if I wanted to notch around so it didn't include part of this circle, or do single offsets and so on and so forth. Again, for more information about when you would use any of these, again, I would point you back to read carefully the beginning of this chapter where it describes the several uses of section views. So I'm just going to hit OK. And now you can see that it's like a projected geometry in that it's always going to be aligned, but it's a little bit different because, well, it's a section view. So I'm just going to select that and click right here, and you can see it's section AA from the center line, or the section line AA, and pretty easy nomenclature. Next thing is we're going to model the items and do some dimensioning. So we'll go to Annotation, Model Items. Again, importing into all views. And we're also going to check this instant revolution count. The reason for that is, well, we have a pattern. Now, I don't know if the book actually has you select this, because honestly it is, but I'm going to, just so you can see what type of thing pops up. We're going to hit OK. Oh, not quite yet. I made a small mistake. I did not choose, so I'm just going to go in there. When you do this, you make sure the source is the entire model. What I had selected was selected feature, and then I had failed to select a feature, which is why the error message came up and prompted me if I wanted to do the entire model. I selected yes, and as you can see, dimensions came up. So I'm going to exit out this and get back to dimensioning. Now you can see that this is pretty busy, so I'm just going to start dragging things around to try to make them a little bit more organized. Generally, with align dimensions like this, and again the book will have gone through this with you, you want to make sure that the larger dimensions are on the outside and the smaller dimensions are on the inside. Now, depending on whether or not your annotations are, as you can see, my dimensions are aligned and somewhat vertical. It would be nice if they were horizontal. So what I'm just going to do is I know a quick, easy way to change that. So I'm going to go to Tools, Options, Document Properties, and I'm just going to click ANSI because I know that ANSI standards have this horizontal. Again, this is completely dependent on what your document template is. And again, because I chose to skip that, I was sort of left with whatever it came up with. Now, looking, I can see that there's a couple dimensions that are not displayed in the book. Now I'm referencing, for those of you following along, the final product, which is going to be on page 1141. Now if you look carefully, it's going to change a little bit as the final project has 6 holes instead of 5. But clearly that these horizontal dimensions are not represented on there. So this isn't a complete drawing. So in an effort to match this, what we're just going to do is we're just going to select these 3 dimensions and we're going to hide them. So just right click and select hide. We've got a few more dimensions in there. As you can see, you gotta, whoops. Alright, so you may have noticed that I made a little bubble around this accidentally. If you double click it, sometimes you can get this weird funky screen, and you don't want that. So hopefully you won't have added that. Next thing we have is we've got this 30-degree mark, and we've got this. Now I would prefer, rather than these horizontal leaders, I would prefer a radius right there and a radius right there. So again, this is matching a little bit closer to what your book has. Now the other thing you may have noticed is that I have these construction geometry in, and the book does not. So I'm just going to delete this one by one, because the book goes through this process where you add this construction geometry, and I don't want you to get lost, and I'll still go through that process of adding. I'm going to leave this default center mark, however. So once we've got our dimensions somewhat the way we like them, what we're going to do is we're going to save this, and we're going to show you that this drawing file will update, and we're gonna create that 6th hole. So I'm just going to save this. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. Again, you want to save this to wherever you're saving part files, and I'm just going to save it as pulley. And it may, if you have the pulley part file open, like I do, it may prompt you to save this part file, because if it saves this drawing file, it's going to want to save the part file because this drawing file is based off of the part file. So we're just going to save all, and again, it's saying, well, this part hasn't been rebuilt. Do you want to rebuild and then save? You just say yes. So that's something you may or may not see depending on what you have open. But if you don't have it open, you need to open it now. So I already have it open, so I'm just going to click here and go to this. You can open it on your own, and we're just going to right click this circular pattern, and we need 6 holes, still in equal spacing, so we're just going to type 6, hit OK, save it, and go back to our drawing. And now you can see there's these 6 holes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add in the center marks on these patterned holes, and we're just gonna hide this dimension and add a new one. First we'll go to center mark, and for this we're manually inserting the holes. We want to make sure that circular center mark and radial lines and slot mark, so that it looks like this. We want these first 3 checked, and slot center mark is unchecked because we don't have any slots. Next thing, you're going to want to hold Control for this, and you're going to want to select these holes that don't already have a center mark. And as you can see, after I select a couple, it's inferring this this circle, and we're just going to select all of them and select OK. And as you can see, there we have it. Next, we're going to hide this dimension. It's a feature dimension, so we don't want to delete it, but we will hide it. And we're going to put in an annotation smart dimension just between those 2 lines, and that's just going to be 60 degrees. I'm noticing that these are radiuses. We don't want them radiuses, so we're going to make them diameters. And again, that's just in dimension and liters. And there we have it. We have a pretty well done drawing. Hopefully yours will be in a template that is maybe a little bit neater than the one I'm using. Also, maybe your font size is a little bit smaller and you've got these a little bit tighter together. But that is an illustration of how to create a section view. Keep this in mind as you design parts. Many of the parts you will design may have a lot of internal features, and using section views is a great way to inject some clarity into your drawing so that somebody can read them and understand what you're trying to build. That's it for this video.